Hey guys, I want to show you another way to sync the carbs. And this method is on Dale's site, and I believe it's called sync method number 2. Okay, and it accomplishes the same thing, only from the back side of the carbs. You don't have to pull the carbs off, and it's kind of reversed. Okay, but since it's all math, it all comes out the same. So this is another way that you can do it without removing the carbs from the bike. The feel required, I think, is a little more critical, okay, because we're dealing with a bigger diameter gauge, okay, but I did it on mine and it just came out right on, okay. So you just need to be patient and, and have a good feel. Some of the things you're going to need are laying right here. You're going to need, some sticks, okay, or something, okay, and there's the ones that I made in the last video. You might need, I did on mine, I made this little washer, okay, and it has a slit through it, as you can see, and the slit, if you make it so a 1/16 inch drill will pass through the slot, okay, it should work just fine, if you even need that. You need a gauge rod, okay, and that's what this is going to be. I just went out and bought a brand new, because all mine are kind of tore up here. I bought a brand new 3/8 drill because the shank is really nice and smooth, okay. You got to watch sometimes. Let's see if you can see that. Let the camera focus on that. Maybe we do this. Hello. Okay. You can see where they roll stamp the size, okay. And you want to make sure that's not sticking up above the surface of the shank. If it does, it's going to mess us up, okay. So, and all I did was I just took crocus cloth and hit it and looked under a magnifying glass, and then, or you can take a razor blade maybe, and just kind of feel along, and I can tell that that's not sticking up above, okay. If it is, just polish it down with something. So you need that. You might be tempted, I was almost going to use this, and that's just a socket, 8mm or some size, whatever it is, and I was going to use this end of it. Well, I got to checking with my mic, and it's different. It's not round, even though it looks like it. So, unless you check this, mic them, make sure it is perfectly round, don't use something like that. In other words, the easiest thing to do is just go buy a 3/8 drill. They're cheap, $2.50 in my area. The other thing you might need is a set of index drills, okay? These are broken down into 64s, okay? So you may need these. And that's it. Okay, so we're out here at the bike, and we're going to do the things we need to do to get ready to do the sync process. Now, my bike idles, okay? So when I'm done with this, I'm going to return it to close to that value, and one of the first steps is remove the air box, whatever, so we can get in here. The next step is to take your idle adjustment screws and lower them all the way down. Or if you have the H or S series idle adjustment, you back them all out until the slides are laying on the bottom. Okay, well, since my bike idles, the first thing I'm going to do is gauge what the opening is in the cutout, so that when I'm all done, I can get somewhere close back to that opening. And that's where the drill kit came into play, okay? And we can get really close with this. So I'm going to start out with a 9/64 drill, because I have no idea. And I'm just going to insert it under the cutout on top of the floor of the bore. See, and that's pretty sloppy. So I'm going to go to the next one, which is a 5/32. And that fits way easy. Again, I'm just going under the cutout of the slide. Now I'm going to go 11/64. Aha. Okay, that baby just fits, luckily. So I know that my present idle height, or my idle screw adjustments, was about 11/64 drill. Okay? So I'm just going to remember that, and we can move on. So the next step is to lower the idle stops all the way down. So I'm going to just do that until the springs compress, until till the coils touch. So screw that one in, and get this one. If I can get to it. And this one. Okay. Okay, the next step was to then, next goal is to get this drill bit, gauge rod, whatever you want to call it, to slide under the slides. And in order to do that, we have to either lock the throttle into position with the lock screw or use the cable adjuster. Okay, so I've elected to use the cable adjuster. All right. Now with mine, if I loosened it, there it's already loose, and if I screwed this all the way out, it unthreaded itself before I got the opening I wanted. So this is where I made that little washer, okay, with the slit in it. And all I'm going to do is just screw my adjuster all in. Okay, so now everything's all in, and I'm just going to get a lot of cable sticking out. I'm going to hang this washer right on there. There you go. Now I'll be able to adjust this out and get that rod or drill bit gauge device under the cutout of the slide. Okay, now we're going to try to get our gauge rod underneath the cutout and adjust the cable adjuster up at the throttle to get this, and I know my hand's in the way, under the cutout, and I'm hitting the hood in here just so I know where I'm at. And I want to start backing down until I can get a good feel. Okay, now I can't move the drill up or down this way, and I can feel everything touching all, on the top and bottom. There's a slight drag. So this is going to be our reference carburetor, and it could be the number 1 or number 2, it doesn't matter. This one's easy because it's on the side with the throttle cable adjustment. So anyway, I'm going to go around the other side, and I'm going to work on number 2 and see how close it is. See, we know now that the slides are hanging only on the cables. Okay, I can't get that one in at all, so I'm going to raise, if I can get my hand in there. There it goes. Now I'm on the hood. Well, that feels just about exactly the same. Pick it up just a touch more. There it goes. And you just got to get a nice feel of that drill bit in there. Okay, that's pretty good. Now I'm going to go to this one, and same thing. That one's loose, so I got to come down. There, just hit. That's a little loose. Okay, and there we are. Okay, so now the next logical step would be to lock all your adjusters and double check and then readjust if necessary. Okay, well, I've removed my little washer from the throttle adjuster, and I got a ton of cable slack still, okay? And well, prior to that, I should say that I locked my nuts down, my lock nuts, and double checked everything, and I had to adjust this one just a little bit, okay? The other two were okay. So you just need to check those things, you know, before you move on to this stage. Now, in the beginning, you know, I had found out that 11/64 drill was about my idle opening. That was the gap under the cutout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 11/64 drill and I'm going to stick it under the cutout. I'm going to start raising my idle adjustment screw. There. Now I'm going to lower it back down until it just grips the drill bit. I hope you can see. I know you can't see that, but there you go. Maybe that's a little better. And just lowering the slide screw until it grips it pretty good. Okay, so that one's set for our target idle opening. It's where it was, you know, before we started messing with the bike. So now I'm going to kind of do the same thing to number. If I get my hand in there. There we go. I'm going to raise this up until I can get the drill in. There it goes. Then I'm going to go more. I'm going to give it about a half turn, maybe 3/4 of a turn more. Okay, and there's a reason for that. I'm going to do the same here. Just start opening until the drill goes in. There it is. And I'm going to give it a half, 3/4 turn more. Okay, now, if you're following my thinking, the number 1 and number 2 should be behind number 3. In other words, number 3 should be the first to open if the cables are all synced well. Okay, so what we're going to do now is stick these sticks in there, okay? There's that one. There's that one. Then we'll get this one in there. Then we're ready to move on. Okay. So now those are all balanced in there. Then what we're going to do, let's see. I'm going to take a little bit of the slop out of the cable up at the throttle grip. There, I got a little bit out, okay, so it's not quite as bad. Now, we're going to see what happens. This one should be the one to move first because I've raised 1 and 2 way up above. So let's see what happens. Yeah, you can see it already, okay. So there it is. I can move that one, and the other 2 don't even move. So what I'm going to do now, since, you know, I know this one's way more open, because I did it. So I'm going to lower this, I don't know, 1/4 turn, like that. Then I'm going to go here, if I can reach around the motor, and give that one a little lower. Okay, because we want them all to open when this one does. Getting close, number 2's pretty close. Give that a little bit more turn there. And that one. Okay, now let's see what we got. Hang on, I gotta get my glasses adjusted. There we go. Okay, number 1 needs a little bit more. Always make sure you got cable slop, okay? So keep that in mind. I'm gonna lower that another 1/4 turn. And we're going to check it again. I got cable slop, I just checked that. Well, one's getting close. I'm going to give that one a little bit more. And I'm going to give this one another tweak. Check my cable slot. Yeah, I've still got a lot. Okay, here we go. Boy, that's pretty close. Man, that looks like it. So, once you get to that point, you're pretty much done. You should be able to start it back up and it'll idle close to what you had before you started this adventure. Thanks.